Hello my fellow developers, welcome again. Now it's time to work on the seller dashboard. Of course, we're not done with the admin dashboard, but we're gonna go step by step, adding few stuff, then coming back to it later so we can start at least creating some sort of structure to our application and have all the basic things we need to actually some results, and then we can add those extra features that comes later. So now for the seller, we need to create the dashboard, the pages, etc. But the first thing I want to do is to create the store schema because it's something needed and we need to have like a store switcher in the sidebar. So why not to create now the actual schema that's going to help us a lot and make our life much easier. So by going back to Prisma and then the schema Prisma, now we can define our new model, which is going to be store. So for the store model right here, the first thing that we need to define is going to be the ID as usual. So please just copy it like this. And then the second thing for the store is going to be a name. So the name is going to be type string. The other thing is going to be a description for the store. And then after that, so the description could be a bit long, so we're going to make sure that it is with the annotation db text, so it can take longer text, okay, like this. And then under here right here, let's remove the annotation. And now for the third thing right here after the description is going to be the email. So this is the email of the store, okay, and then this email you could choose to make it unique or not. Okay, so every store should have its own unique store email and no other store can have that email. So we can add the annotation unique, so whenever someone tries to add another store with the same email, it's not gonna allow it because it should be unique. Now after that, we're just gonna have a phone number, so we can just add phone, and also this is gonna be a string. Then after that, we need the URL. So the same way we added the URL for categories and subcategories, also the store should have a unique URL. So this URL right here is going to be type string, and also we have to add the annotation unique. So every store should have a unique email and also unique URL. Now when it comes to images, this store is going to have a logo, so let's add the logo as a string right here. And then after that, it's going to take a cover, so not going to take cover, it's going to have a cover, so also a string right here. And then this store is going to have a status, and status simply gonna be one of the store status we're going to create. So the same way we have used enum right here to define the roles for the user, we can use that again to define the store statuses that we can have. So I can say enum and then enum right here, and then sorry, let me take the store status right here. At least define the only statuses this store is gonna have. So what it's gonna have is gonna have pending. So this is when it creates a store and it's not yet accepted by the admin, so it's gonna be on the state pending. When it gets accepted, it's gonna be active. Then after that, this store can be banned, so it can take the state banned. Also it can be disabled and is not showing for the users. So this is the status. It's gonna be one of the store statuses that we added right here, but we have to specify a default one. So by default is going to be pending like this. So this is for the status. Also the store is going to have a rating, so with the reviews the store gets for its own product, it's going to have an average rating for the store. So I'm just going to go and add an average rating, so average rating right here. So this one is going to be a float, so type float, okay, like this. So it's because it can take decimals, etc. And by default we can make it 0, okay, like this. And this is the average rating for now. Also this one, it could have the property featured. If you want to make this store featured on the home page or any of our pages, we can make this a boolean for now, so it could be true or false. And by default, as we made before, this is going to be false by default. So after that, we're going to have a few extra informations like the return policy. So every product belongs to a store is going to have a return policy depending on that store. So this one just simply a string, and by default is not going to be mandatory to ask for. Also there is few other stuff which is going to be the default shipping service, okay, and then this is also going to be a string and it's also optional, not mandatory. There is also the default shipping fees. So the products that belong to this product is going to have a default shipping service and also a default shipping fees right here, which is going to be float like this, also optional, because you can define for each product, you want to define the shipping service, the shipping fees, etc. But if they don't exist, so we don't have them for the certain products, we can rely and come back to the store and check their default, shipping service, shipping fees, etc. And then also there is the default delivery time minimum. So we can say this store can deliver products in minimum 5 days, okay. So this one is going to be an integer, so it takes integer number numbers, so from 1, 2, 3, etc. And then also it can take a maximum, so we can also add a maximum right here. So this product or this store can deliver the products in maximum like 10 days or whatever. So the other thing that we always add is the created ad and updated ad. So let's add them right here. So let me just go and remove this from here. So this is for the two properties that are important for timestamps. Now we have to take this product, this store, and have a relationship with the user. The reason for it is because a user can have many stores, okay? And the user could have or not have any store with them. So every user that we have right here, it could have some stores and it could not. So it's not mandatory for the user to have a store, but the store should exist for a certain user. We cannot have a store without the proper user related or the one that created this store. That's what I'm trying to say. So for this one, we're going to add the user ID right here. So for the user ID is going to be, so let's add this and let's make this string right here as usual. Now let's create the relation. So this user is going to have a relation with the user model right here, and we need to define the relation and we can add a name for it. So yeah, no, let's call it, for example, user source. Okay, so user source, and the field right here that's gonna have the ID of the user is gonna be the user ID right here, and it references what? It references the ID of the user model. So this ID right here references the ID of the user model. That if we click right here, this one right here, I've explained this before. So it's quite easy to understand. When we actually add an ID, we have to index it to make sure it works, and then simply add the user ID right here. Now when we do that, we're gonna see right here that we haven't created the opposite relation in the user. So we can go back to the user right here. So let's go on top here. So for this user, it can take some stores. Okay, so stores, and it's going to be an array of stores. Of course, it can be empty, so the user is not mandatory or not obligated to have a store. Just simply it could be empty, and we just have to specify the relation with the same name we have added before, which is user stores. So when we do that, now we have the properties added for the store without any problem. Just make sure everything is added right there. If you want to add something like customizable for yourself, you can do that. You don't have to use the same properties right here. This is just simply depending on your needs, and you can, even if you want to add like something for yourself, add it right now. So while we continue with the course, when we create inputs for those properties, you just create another input for them and just continue with me. So yeah, it's not a big deal. And let's format first. So all I'm gonna do is just, let me start the server now. Let me just go bun and then Prisma, and then let's go format. So format our Prisma schema, and then after that we're just gonna go bun Prisma and then generate. Okay, so we can generate types, etc. And now what we need to do is to actually push the schema to the database, so we can sync the data from the schema Prisma also with the database schema. So what we need to do is just simply bump Prisma, and as usual db push right here, and it's gonna say your database is now in sync with your Prisma schema. So that's it. Yeah, we have already generated the Prisma client, everything is done, the store model, etc. So now in the next videos we will actually start working on the dashboard, and this is something that we needed to do and we have done it. So yeah, let's go and continue with the next parts.